God rings you up himself and says, come and have a practice with me, Doc. That's got to be nerve-wracking, hasn't it?
That brought extra pressure because they couldn't beat Phil, so what they try and do, they try and take it out of me. So I was literally half thrown at the deep end, really.
The nickname, Jackpot.
No Jackpot, Lewis.
Tell us the story. It is one of the greatest nicknames in the sport.
Anyway, the machine throws, the light starts flashing, and the cashier says, you win big jackpot. I said, who, me? I'm looking around thinking, oh dear.
$72,000, and you're literally running away from it.
It was all tile floor, and these doors come flinging open, and he's come sliding through naked on his belly. This bloke's going, Lewis, I've turned around. I said, what's up, mate? He said, you've just cost me 50 quid. I said, mate, I've just lost 100 grand in there. Do me a favour, like, you know. All of a sudden, there's a massive, well, man and Wadey's darts are both literally going stupid angles, so.
Ali Pally, stuff always happens to you at Ali Pally.
Everything.
You nearly had royal bodyguards pull a weapon on you at one point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They were reaching in, weren't they? Some big lads just accosted a potential future monarch. Adrian Jackpot Lewis, two-time champion of the world. Thanks for joining us, AD.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Look, we want to talk about anything and everything, right. So we may as well start right at the beginning. If it wasn't for darts, what would you be doing?
Probably still in the building trade, to be honest. I think started playing darts when I was 17, and basically used to finish work on a Friday afternoon, go to the pub with the lads, and that's where I first started playing.
Because darts wasn't your first love, was it? It was always football.
Football, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like, how big into football were you?
Oh, massive. I was at the Alex for, a couple of years. I was under that, and bad injury put me out, and that was it. And then, the next love was, to be honest, I wanted to go in the paratroopers. That's where I wanted to go.
Did you?
Yeah, I was a fit lad then, obviously back then. A lot now. But yeah, that's where I wanted to go. Yeah.
Because you're a goalie, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But and were you on the books at Crewe?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you're a Stoke fan.
Stoke City fan.
Yeah, because there's a little clue, isn't there? There's a little DIY tattoo.
I know.
There is a little clue.
There is. I did a tattoo stupidly when I was very young.
Yeah. Was it you and your mates? Did you all do it?
Yeah, we were sitting on the park messing about. We got some Indian ink from the art shop. Mm-hmm. Needle. It is quite a work of art.
So are they?
I wouldn't say that.
Are they all, like you and your mates, are they all like different standards? Like, are some better than others?
I'd say mine's probably the smallest, so mine's probably the best.
Okay. Right. Okay. You've moved on to other tattoos, but they're slightly higher quality.
That's right.
But was that your plan then? You thought I could be a professional footballer here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was that's what I trained for every day, and all that side of things. Yeah, that's where my mind was set. Yeah.
Were there
I never thought I was going to be a dart player. No.
No. Crewe's quite famous for producing talent as well.
For the youth, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like, are there any players that you were coming up with who went on to bigger and better things?
Not really, not as a radar. Anyway.
It was just a bad crop.
I think, to be honest, with the game being as the way it is now, a lot of the players are obviously coming from abroad. I think and obviously that's where a lot of clubs invest their money.
So darts just sort of came about from playing down the pub with your mates when you were 17.
17.
You got very good very quickly, right?
Yeah, it's just something I could always do. It isn't like I could hit 180s basically from when I first started throwing darts. Yeah.
What, straight away?
Yeah, straight away more or less. Yeah.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, your mates must have been fuming with you.
Well, what it was is all the people who were playing in the pub team at the time. They literally come in and they couldn't get me off the board. So then they ended up joining their team. And then my mum entered me into this British Teenage Youth, which is like the equivalent of the World Championship Youth now. And I won that. So.
And you'd been playing for how long at this point? A year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Now probably 8 months or something like that, probably.
That's ridiculous, AD.
Well, especially like we say, wading, everybody was in there, bunting. And then that's where I first started, that's where I first met them lads.
So... Did you just fall in love with it straight away then as a game, or was it just you were really good at it? So if you're good at something, you want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's one of them things where you think, I could earn a few quid if I knuckle down at it.
Okay. So at what point did you think, well, not just earn a few quid, I could be a proper darts player. I could be one of the big boys. Well, I don't need to be scared of the people I'm seeing on the telly.
No, I think when it first turns up, it's a TV, well, it's not a TV tournament, it's a floor tournament, I should say, and you're looking around the room and you got the, likes of the old boys like Lloydie and obviously Phil and, all them kind of lads. And you're thinking, when I'm here with these lot, this is going to be tough. And then, after the, I don't know, probably 6 months of, being with them, I ultimately knew I got a good chance against anybody then.
Were you watching darts on that telly? Was darts even on your radar?
No, I used to watch. To be honest, I used to watch. I didn't have Sky at the time when I was younger. But I used to watch a bit of the BDO stuff of like Andy Ford and Barney, and and that's how.
Who were your favourites?
Yeah, it used to be Barney, Andy Ford.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you sort of model yourself on anybody? Were you all very much just play the game your own way?
No, just I don't know. I've always just done my own thing, really. It's not really too get much interest. You pick up little bits off different players, as you go along. Certainly on the finishing side of the game, but as a whole, not really. No.
Because you're one of the players, probably the player, that all the pros and the pundits they go on about. Natural talent. He's one of the most naturally gifted players in the game. This guy was destined for greatness as soon as he turned up. What was it like to have that tag put on you when you first arrived?
It was difficult because, obviously, I qualified for a couple of TV events before I even met Phil, with winning the British Energy, which put me into the Masters, and I'd also qualified for the UK Open anyway. That was in 2004, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So, with me practicing with Phil as well, that brought extra pressure because they couldn't beat Phil, so what they're trying to do, they're trying to take it out on me. So I was literally half thrown at the deep end, really.
Right, well, let's talk about Phil Taylor then.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first moment you met him?
Yes, it was at a charity do. I was playing Super League for people in darts world will know, Maureen Flowers.
Yeah.
I used to play Super League for her team on a Thursday, and he'd come up do something for a cancer charity, and he said, "I've heard a lot about you. Would you come up mine for a practice?" I was like, "Oh yeah, great, yeah, that'd be great." And then I heard nothing for probably 5 or 6 months after that, really. And then that's when my phone rang. I think it was a bank holiday Monday, if I remember rightly. And he said, "Are you up to anything?" And I said, "No." He said, "You fancy coming up now for a quick practice?" I said, "Oh yeah, definitely." And
What's
that was
that
it, yeah.
like? I mean, that's the
yeah,
superstar. That's Pele
crazy,
of darts.
Really. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
And I know you're from the same part of the world, but when you get that call, no matter how confident you are, no matter how good you think you can be, if God rings you up himself and says, "Come and have a practice with me, Doc," that's got to be nerve-wracking, hasn't it?
I mean, not really, not at the time, because it's like, you're young, aren't you? You don't really think of the consequences or anything like what it could do to your game or anything like. You're just there, you think, right, he's having it, and that was it. Didn't always work out like that, mind.
How did those early practice sessions with Phil go?
Certainly the first 2 or 3 months, it was pretty difficult. But then I started to get closer and closer, and then it got to a stage where we used to play first to 18 legs, and if I was winning, he'd say, "Oh, I've got to be somewhere at 2 o'clock." And he'd say he'd never let you win. So,
even in practice, he just...
Oh, no. Yeah. He'd beat his nan at Tiddlywinks, he would. I'm telling you, he would. He would.
Do you think that he was teaching you anything by doing that? Not just throwing the darts or anything. It's about an approach to the game, even if it's just win. Just win.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. It gives you that, yeah, of course he did. He gave me the winning mentality on. Yeah, definitely.
With Phil, how close did you become? Because you were pretty tight for a long old while.
We were. Like you say, we were practicing together for a few years. But it got to the stage where he beat me in a couple of TV events, and I broke into the top 16 as well. And I thought, I'm too close, so I need to distance myself. And that's when my game started getting better and better.
So it's sort of learning to stand on your own 2 feet?
Basically, yeah, that's my thought process on it, I think. Because like I say, I was too close. I was giving too much respect to him when I was playing him. So then I thought, no, I'm not playing my game here. And something needs to change.
That's quite a difficult thing to do, I'd imagine, isn't it?
I think he understood. I do, obviously, when I told him what my plans were, I think he understood.
The nickname, Jackpot.
No Jackpot, Lewis.
Tell us the story. It is one of the greatest nicknames in the sport.
So I was in Vegas. It was the Las Vegas Desert Classic. I was with a lad called Steve Beard, and he used to play on the circuit. And he was an Irish fella, and he was playing on, I think it was blackjack or roulette or something on the behind the machines. And at this time, it's probably 5 o'clock in the evening. We were going up, get dressed, go out for the evening. And I thought, while he's on that, I'll put quick couple $100 in this machine. Anyway, I was pressing bet max. It was like, I don't know if it was $5 or $15 a spin. It could have been. Anyway, the machine froze. The light starts flashing, and the cashier says, "You win big jackpot." I said, "Who, me?" I'm looking around thinking, "Oh dear." So I knew obviously I wasn't 21. So I said to him, "Quick, come here, quick." I said, we're from the jackpot. Anyway, he's come over. The cashier's come. They've had his passport and everything. And at this moment, I was stood by the elevator because I knew I wanted to stay out the way. And as he's come back, he's come back with full security. Points at me, obviously. Then asked for my passport. So and then he threatened my mum and everything with arrest and all this. He's arguing with him. I said, "No, Steve, don't."
How much money are we talking here?
$72,000.
$72,000, and you're literally running away from it because you're worried about the repercussions.
Correct. Yeah.
How did that resolve itself in the end?
I don't think he did it? I think probably they had the money. I should imagine.
Nobody got arrested though.
No, nobody got arrested. No, but he did say to Tommy Cox, the tournament director, we know he's here with the darts. If we see him having a drink of any alcohol whatsoever, around the venue, we're going to cancel the darts tournament and everything like that. Yeah.
How many months shy of your 21st birthday were you?
What would it have been? Probably 5-6 months.
That is agonising, isn't it? How often have you thought about that?
I didn't really think about it after that. I thought, it is what it is. I aren't one of them people who ever dwells on it. I'll just, right, it's happened, and we'll just crack on.
I mean, it's a heck of a story, though. Have you got £72,000 worth of storytelling out of it?
Not quite.
Not quite. But we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there. You mentioned you're in Vegas for that one.
Mm.
You've travelled all over the world.
Yeah.
This game has completely transformed your life, hasn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, how it's probably you've done things that you've never even thought were possible. I'm guessing you just would never even be on your radar as a young lad growing up around Stoke.
No, definitely not. No, like I say, it's just a normal lad from Stoke, and and next minute you're travelling the world with something you love doing.
Do you think it's quite hard though, as a young man?
Yeah.
Suddenly thrust into the limelight, playing on telly, big money, high pressure. Is that hard to deal with?
Mentally, I think it is. I think it takes its toll on you certain times. I think it is very difficult sometimes. Like you say, you live your life on like a roller coaster. You have ups, you have downs, you have ups, and that's what it's like. So it isn't like it's not just for yourself; it's for your family as well. Your family go through it as well.
Because it's got to be hard to deal with because there's no security in professional sport, is there? No. And it's not. I know, there's a lot of money in the game, but it's not tennis or Formula One where everybody's millionaires.
No, of course not. No.
And it's winning darts to pay the bills, and there's plenty of players over the years who struggle to do that. Did you ever struggle with that side of things, with the pressure of it?
Not really money. I've never been that way. I've never been like thinking about money. I've never been one of them players. I'm always like for the trophy. Everybody said we'd rather the trophy or the money. I always said the trophy. Certainly the World Championships anyway.
Did it take a while for you to mature as a player, do you think? And what is it that changed that allowed you to be a really talented player to one that would become multiple major champion and one of the best in the world?
I think it was just experience. I think, and belief. I think the key to it was the Grand Prix. When I beat Phil over that distance, I think that's when my game changed, where I knew then I could do it over long distance, because I'd never been in that scenario where I'm playing against one of the top boys in a format that long. And as soon as I beat Phil at that distance, especially doubling, which has never been my strong point, I knew then. I thought this World Championship's coming up. I thought I've got a good chance.
Was it always good nature between you and Phil? Because he didn't lose much, to be fair. But when you did manage to get one over on him, Was he always? Because he'd always say lovely things about you all the time. More lovely things when he'd won.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But it's a strange relationship. There aren't many relationships like that in sport, where you've got the master and the apprentice and trying to knock 7 bells out of each other, figuratively.
Yeah. Like you say, the greatest games we played is obviously the Grand Slam, and the World Match Play final. And obviously got better of me on them 2 occasions. So I think it might have been a bit different if I'd have won one of them.
Did he feel you brought the best out of each other? Because he did seem to save some of his best for you.
He did. He was going through a period where probably between 2000 and maybe 2012 to at least 2016 or something like that, where he was literally unplayable. Where, I was averaging 110 and basically getting blown out the water. At one time, I think during the Grand Slam match as well, I think I was averaging 116 and I'm 9-8 down. I'm thinking, what's going on here? It's unbelievable, really.
Was it different for you, do you think, from everybody else? When Taylor's dominating the game and breaking all these records and throwing 9 darters and, he's going in unbeaten for years in some tournaments. And all these other guys are going, flipping Phil. He's your mate and you loved him as well.
Like you say, you brought the best out of you, and you know yourself, if you don't turn up, you're going to go out there, with a sail between your legs.
Was it always like playing for second place for a long while, like for everybody?
Not really, no, because I always thought if I can turn up and bring me a game, I've got a great chance. As long as I can keep consistent and bring me game, I knew I had a great chance.
A lot of time on the road, isn't there? As a darts
Yes,
player.
yeah.
That's difficult, particularly when you've got family, young kids. How hard is it how did you cope with it?
It's like I say, it is hard because, like you say, when you've got a young family at home, sometimes you don't want to go. Sometimes you'd rather, stay at home. But they understand, at the end of the day, that's your job. That's what you base your career on. Then they know that, And as we said, like before we had children, this, she knew what it entailed, and we just worked together on that.
I mean, you've got a family. And did that change you, becoming a dad? Because again, that's more pressure, isn't it? You're not just doing it for yourself anymore.
I think, like I say, because I've only worked in the building trade for, a few years and I come straight into darts, it isn't like I'd been working half my life and then decided I'm jacking the job in, so I've always had that, I've always had that pressure anyway, so it didn't really, like having a family and, and providing for them, I knew I could do that.
It's one of those things with professional sport in that nobody has any idea how long careers last. Like if you train to be an accountant or whatever, you think, well, I can carry on being an accountant until I'm retirement age. But there is that insecurity with professional sport, and that's something that I guess you guys have to live with all the time. Is it just something you're able to just put to the back of your mind?
Yeah, that's when you're there. All you try and concentrate on is playing it the best you can. Try to give it your all, and try to pick as much ranking money as you can up, and just keep moving up instead of looking behind, thinking, "Oh God, here we go."
What's life like on the road? I know Craig's your pal who drives you around.
Yeah, Craig's been with me. How many years now? 16 years, I'd say.
That's a lot. Years. You've spent a lot of time with Craig.
Some stories, oh God, I tell you.
Right, well, let's go on then. Let's hear the stories about you and Craig, Adrian.
Do you want me to tell you the story about me and Phil first?
Yes, please.
They'll love this. Phil won't love me for telling you this, by the way. So it was the first time I'd ever gone to Ireland, and I had a room with him. So we flew into Knock Airport. He had an exhibition in Roscommon with a bloke called Ronnie Boyle, who was putting it was like a Cat 2 tournament, I think, at the time. It was in categories then, at Castlebar, County Mayo. So we flown in, and we were waiting at the carousel for the suitcases come off, and he's looked at me. I said, "Have you ever had it where your suitcase hasn't turned up?" He said, "Jeez, don't say that, Aid." Anyway, your suitcase didn't turn up. So obviously having no darts or anything like that, my mum would give me like 50 quid or something like that. So that's all he had in my pocket. And he says, right, so I know a sports shop called Rivalries in the middle of town. He said, we'll go get some darts in there. I said, okay. So he goes into the sports shop, and there's this lady behind the counter, and all the darts were behind her. Anyway, we walked in, and she's looking. She said, "Excuse me, love, if I have a set of your 24-gram Phil Taylor darts, Unicorn, I'll either reimburse you with the money or give you another set." And she's looking at him like that. And he goes, "Look, that's me on the front there." And she goes, "And I'm on the back, now F off." Well, I'm laughing at this point. He said, "Don't tell anybody." Well, I told everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So did he get the darts in the end?
No, yeah, I had to pay for it.
You had to pay for it. Yeah. Did you get reimbursed?
No, I think he still owes me that money, to be honest.
Right, yeah, okay. Well, we saw him early. We should have got it back for you. But I mean, there's all sorts of stories.
Oh, loads.
I mean, you and Craig, for example, right? I mean, you are living in each other's pockets. You've driven all over Europe.
Correct.
I mean, you've probably seen him more than you've seen your family at times.
Most, yeah.
I mean, it's quite. You need somebody you can rely on and trust and get on with when you're there 24/7 and through all those highs and lows you've said.
Definitely. Yeah, with Craig, like I say, certainly during the Premier League times, it was like we were literally, you had to be on the Wednesday, you play Thursday, you travel Friday, or play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you come back home Monday, Tuesday you spend with the family, Wednesday you back off, and that's when, if you put it in context, it's nearly 6 months of your life, just like that.
Yeah.
And that's how much time, obviously, we were spending together. But there's so many stories with me and him. There was once, because he is a big bloke. I mean, I'm a big bloke, but he's bigger than me, so that says something. Anyway, we were playing at Crondon Park. With the
Championship League?
That's right, Championship League. And anyway, he says, "You having a show first?" I said, "No, go on, pal, you get him first. I'll just watch a bit of the news." Anyway, I hear this almighty crash. I thought, what's that next minute? We had like these doors, like cowboy doors. I don't know what they're...
Like saloon bar doors?
That's right, yeah, like saloon doors. That's the word. Anyway, it was all tiled floor. And these doors come flinging open, and he's come sliding through naked on his body. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Craig. I said, he looked at me, I said, hey up. I said, get back in the shower. Jeez.
Wow. A mental image for the ages.
Correct, yeah. Just carrying on with that story, the same day it was really hot, and like I said, we were playing at Crondon Park. Anyway, I thought, my boxer started rubbing in me. I thought, oh my God, I'll tell you what, I said, right, Craig, you can have come up to the call with me so I can go commando, kind of thing. Right, so anyway, I gets in the back of the car, and I said, is there anybody about, Craig? No, nobody's about. As I've got out, obviously see my backside. I can hear these wolf whistles going on. 3 lads teeing off. I couldn't believe it. I said, you idiot. You know what I mean?
I was showing you backside in a car park in Crondon Park.
Yeah. Probably thought they were at the zoo, to be honest. But
we've talked about playing high stakes darts. And look, there's huge money, but there is huge pressure. Does that make it less... Does it make it less fun? Turns into work rather than the game you played as a kid when you were growing up?
But I think it was already like that for me anyway, because Phil always said, Phil always drilled into you, this is work, this is not, if you look at some of the other lads there, they play tournaments throughout the day and then go have a few beers at night. Obviously not fresh in the morning. So if I don't do that and I go bed early, you've got a great chance. You've already won 0 point, you've already won leg up.
Was that so? That was sort of a professional attitude that Phil tried to drill into.
So, yeah.
Because even with that, there's still pressure, and some of the rivalries you've had. They've been flashpoints. You and Manly, for example, loads of people have had arguments with Kevin Painter. But I mean, there have been plenty of incidents in your career.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, talk us through some of them. I want to, like Manly, for example. Tell us what happened with that one.
Yeah, like I said, to be fair, me and Pete do get on now really well. But
at the
time, I think, it was my first ever World Championships, so he knew. I was told by everybody, stay away from him. All this. He's going to chart this and that. So anyway, I thought, that's what I'll do. And then he started saying a few things beforehand, as Pete does or would have done. And I just thought, nah, you're not getting me like that. So I basically just switched off, didn't talk to him, did my own thing. And then obviously as we were on the stage, it was he was saying stuff when I'm throwing, and that was it really.
And you walked off. You were like, I'm not having
this.
Yes. I'm not having this. I mean, that took that takes guts to do, particularly in your first appearance at Worlds, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. That was, it's just one of them things, isn't it? It's either that or sort of full-on arguments on a stage, which now happens anyway. Oh dear.
Well, look, I mean, there's. I'm trying to think. There's been when Gerwen Price first turned up.
Yeah.
There was a little war of words between the pair of you.
Yeah.
I mean, is it all just the fun of it? I mean, there's a little bit of truth.
Yeah, I
in
think
there,
sometimes. I think everybody's a bit overexcited, and sometimes you sometimes you say things you don't mean, and then the week after you say, listen, apologise, or somebody apologise to yourself. It's just the way that the world is, isn't it, I suppose.
Because you guys are living in each other's pockets all the time, as well. You're travelling all around the world together. Right, yeah. But there can be.
I can't honestly say like, I really dislike such and such. You know what I mean? I don't like that. And probably everybody else is the same. It didn't like us. I hate him, or But no, we just that's the way it is. You have a spat here and there. Like me and Righty, for instance. He apologised to me, and I said I'm sorry for slating him on Twitter and everything else, and we just move on.
Social media can be a nightmare, can't it?
Yeah, especially when other people start getting dragged into it.
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, that's my fault for doing that in the first place.
You're one of the players who's sort of taken a step back from social media. I mean,
yeah.
It's quite a difficult thing to deal with if you've got any kind of public profile, isn't
that's
it?
That's right. I think you get, the amount of name calls you get, I can remember, there's been loads of instances where, you get called every name under the sun, basically. But there was an occasion where I'd just lost I think it was the UK Open. And I'd come off, and this bloke's going, Lewis, I've turned around. I said, what's up, mate? He said, you've just cost me 50 quid. I said, mate, I've just lost 100 grand in there. Do me a favour,
Yeah, it's always their 50 quid that's the most important. That's the problem. Let's talk about your favourite moments. What are the ones that stand out? If I said, give me 5 moments in your career that will live with you forever, the highlights, what would they be?
It's got to be the 9 darts in the World Championship final.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
With 3 legs in, I think. It was a very early on.
Set, yeah, it was a first set.
And in your first World Championship final, it's already an enormous night.
Yes.
To get up on stage and throw 9 darts, you can see it in your face. Like, you can't quite believe it's happened.
No, I couldn't, no.
What's going through your head?
I mean, like, when I first started, playing darts, I wouldn't even say professional. When I first started, realised I was half decent at it, and I started switching my mind to, I can make a few quid out of this. Then I started thinking, if I want to win the World Championship, I want it to 9 darts in the final, obviously for win the title, kind of thing, like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It didn't pan out like that, but I hit one
pretty close.
Set, so yeah, I hit one in the first set. So. That was on my mind. I don't know why. It was on my mind. What
is that moment like? I've tried to put myself in your position, Adrian, thinking about that.
I think. Do you know what? Because it was a really good game, me and Gary. I think once I did that 9 darts, I'd basically forgot about it. Because we went off for the break after, didn't we? Come back on, and I thought, right, I've got a tournament win now, and that had gone.
Do you think that's just a glimpse into the mindset of what you need to be to become a world champion?
Probably. Sometimes even now you get so excited, especially if you've got a big shot, you give it large and everything else, and then before you know it, you've kicked in with a 26-45 and you lost a leg. So you can't. It's just about trying to keep calm and cool and calm, I should say.
Well, at the end of that game, obviously you ended up getting your hands on the trophy. That's dream achieved. I've completed darts, isn't it?
Well, you've won the world title. That's what I set out to do, and then I kept giving Gary a little bit of stick, as I do. I beat you in the world final, Gary, because he gave me a bit of stick about obviously beating him in the Premier League as well, didn't he? After in the final, and but now he's got his own back now, hasn't he? So,
but what was that feeling like? We spoke to Phil Taylor before, and he said after he won all of his World Championship finals, all 16 of them, but particularly the first. Once you've done all your interviews and you've done all of that stuff that goes with it, you get back home and he almost feels a bit sad. He almost because it's like, what else is there to do? I've achieved everything there needs. What else is there? Did you ever feel like that at all?
No, because when I first come on the scene, so when this tournament started, coming thick and fast, so it was like you couldn't really. enjoy it as much. You know, if one thing I could look back on now and say, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd enjoyed it more. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of just, right, now I've got to get ready for it. You know, it's all just go.
Back on the treadmill.
That's right, yeah.
More darts, more tournaments.
Yeah. And I'd rather just sit back and think, oh, I wish I could have done that.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's more moments that stand out for you. We've got the 9 darts and the World Championship, the first world title. Hit us up with some more.
I'd say the match against MVG in the semi-final of the Blackpool one. That was a classic, I think.
Yeah.
There's been loads, haven't there, really? I don't know.
Because you and MVG, I mean, your rivalry that you had was fascinating because obviously you were Phil Taylor's protege and you're the guy who's destined for greatness. And then this guy turns up who's just a machine and doing ridiculous things. And you were knocking lumps out of each other for a long old while.
Yeah.
Was it a rivalry you enjoyed?
I did. I love playing MVG. You know, simple reason being, he's a quick pace player, saves myself, and I like getting on with it. There's nothing, you know, there's nobody going there or slowing the game down, taking everything out.
Hang on. I remember you slowing the game down once again.
Yeah, well, that was different. That was because I was trying to concentrate more. What I did, I used to get into a thing where I was basically kicking the people's heels from, you know what I mean, move out the way kind of thing. And I thought, no, because then I'm rushing, and then my first thought's going bloody wonky, you know, we're not going where I want to go. So I thought, just give myself a split second, which turned into a second. And then before I knew it, I thought, no, I've got to stop this, just go back to normal. And that's what I did, yeah. So you always try and think all that. That's another thing with darts, what people don't realise at home. It isn't like a 9-to-5 job where you can basically turn up, do your job, go home, switch off. You don't. You bring your job in with you all the time. You're always thinking, how can I improve? What can I do? You know, wonder if that flight will work with, you know, well, that's weight darts. And you always try and think and make, you know, try and get the perfect set.
Is that, you take your job home with you, does that, so if you are going through a tough time, or if you do lose a big game, is it difficult to switch off and forget about
definitely,
that?
Yeah. Because all you want to do is just get back on the board and put it right.
Because that is, everybody has peaks and troughs, and dealing with those troughs is really, that can be really, really difficult. Some people walked away from the game.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Like you say, you've got to be, I always say, for playing this game, you've got to be a sucker for punishment, I think. I think that's what it is. You just got to just deal with it and just try to put it behind you and just focus on what's in front.
We've seen you win a couple of world titles. We've seen you in the European Championship, UK Open. 4 times you won the World Cup of Darts, playing with Phil.
That's definitely up there. That's one of them as well, definitely.
Well, I mean, playing with Phil for England, that must feel like it was the culmination of years and years of...
Yeah, we had like a love-hate relationship. I loved him and he hated me, so it was a bit like that. But no, he used to give me some rollickings, honestly. Certainly, sometimes I was bloody crap as well. But so was he, you know, on the odd occasion.
Was it harder playing? I mean, pairs format, all the players talk about it being really hard.
It is hard. I mean, they aren't just saying that, it is hard. Because you don't want to let your partner down. You've got the nation, you know, wanting you win. And it is, yeah. It is hard.
And you've had
more pressure.
You've had some dramatic times in that particular tournament.
Certainly against Australia, yeah.
Talk us through that game. Because, I mean, we could spend 3 hours talking about that game alone, couldn't we?
It was... to be fair to Paul Nicholson, I think he was probably the best out the bunch of us there, really. And it was, like I said, that last leg decider, blooming ink.
So 1 leg to win the World Cup, Australia versus England. You all get darts for the title.
Yeah.
You're the one who just about gets you over the line. I mean,
yeah, good old 5-5, yeah.
It looked like Nicholson was in full Paul Nicholson mode. You were fired up. Phil was pretty fired. Whitlock didn't seem to know what was going on or really interact with any of it. But it was one of the most dramatic games we've ever seen. What was it like to be on stage?
I wasn't watching, so I don't know myself. I was just waiting for the call up, you know. But no, it was nerve-wracking. Though, you know, when you're there and it's. Like I say, I'd missed. I think I missed. Was it initially? I think I might have missed a dart somewhere. And then Whitlock had 3 darts, I think, and he'd messed up. And then I thought, well, Phil's going to finish now. He'd missed. And then I'm like, please miss now. Now when Paul Nicholson's there, and then, like I say, I got the opportunity for the 5-5. So, very good.
Does it mean more to win with Phil and for England than let's say for example your UK Open win, where you won it for yourself and you're cementing yourself in your place in history, but there's lots of different things going on in that World Cup tournament.
There is, yeah. I think it's like I say, it's definitely on par. I think with the European and the UK, I think so. Yeah.
When people talk about the greatest players of all time, your name always gets chucked in there. How do you feel about it?
I don't really take much notice, really, because I don't know. I don't know. I just don't really think about it, really.
So, like, I mean, if people are chucking out, oh, well, Phil and Michael van Gerwen and Gary Anderson and Eric Bristow and all this, but they're just having your name mentioned alongside those. That's got to be an immense source of pride, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm proud of what I've done so far in the game. I know there's a lot more come. Obviously, well, hopefully there is, so we'll just have to see how it goes. What
has the last couple of years been like? Because it has been more difficult, and obviously you've dropped down the rankings a bit, but there's always, and as soon as you have a good game, everybody's like,
yeah, they love
Adrian's
it.
back.
No, yeah, that's it. No, that's right. Yeah, I had a couple of good months really. My timing's been terrible, to be honest. It's like last week there, which annoyed. I'm like £3,500 in, I was gaining the match play, and then I caught COVID again. And then obviously that puts you back again. And then now I'm only £750 in from, which is, it's annoyed the crap out of me. If I'm honest, like, well, my timing's terrible.
One thing that always stands out, people always talk about it. On the way to the World Championship final, James Wade, Draftgate.
Yeah, Wingate, whatever you want to call it.
Wingate, yeah, he's got many names.
Yeah.
Talk us through what happened that night.
Right, so I think it was Simon Whitlock against Andy Hamilton on in the other semi-final before us, and for some odd reason, that had gone on for a long time. That had gone on over by probably an hour. But time we got on the stage, this I mean, some I don't know the venue did say, but something kicks in where it starts pushing all the hot air out of the
air conditioning or something like that.
Yeah, and all of a sudden there was a massive. Well, Man and Wade's darts are both literally going stupid angles. So I think I wanted tops. I think if I remember right, I think he was still on 300 and something. And I've looked and said, I can't throw in this. Anyway, we said to Bruce, and Bruce said, no, I agree, we'll come off. So we were talking to Tommy Cox, saying this is outrageous and, shouldn't be happening at this level and, just crap like that, really. And then we've come back on and we had to start the leg again. When I was like, what? And then I lost the leg, I lost the set, and before I know it, I'm 5-1 down, so...
I mean, you came back and turned it around. That's the weird thing. A lot of people remember it. If it wasn't for that, Adrian might not have won that game. But it actually got worse for you afterwards,
of course
didn't it?
That was was it first or second set? That happened.
I think 2-0 at this.
Yeah, that's what you say. So I think I was 2-0 up in legs in that set, and I come back and lost that set as well. I think so. It didn't bode well that, but it was so. But the people don't realise after we'd done all that. And it had gone on till God knows what time it was in the morning, 1:30, I think it was. We had to go for a drug test after that.
Yeah.
So we were literally there. Well, put it this way, I was when I was coming in, MVG's manager, Jason Thames, was having breakfast.
Yeah. You got back at like
7:15. I think it's 7:15 in the morning. And bear in mind, I had to do press at 10. So literally had 2 hours sleep and I was showered and I'm ready for go again.
And then they have to play the World Championship final.
Shattered.
And you end up beating Andy Hamilton.
Don't know, even though shattered.
Where does that rate? I mean, retaining the world champion, winning it is one thing, but keeping hold of it the next year, particularly under those circumstances, is astonishing.
I mean, if you remember rightly, Nigel Hayden was the first game I played in that, and he was unbelievable for the first 2 sets. And luckily enough for me, I think I sneaked a couple of legs here and there and put myself back in.
That was the B, wasn't it?
I got stung by a wasp.
Stung by a wasp, yeah.
And then that was the same. Yeah, the paramedics wanted me to stay with them. I'm fine. Listen, I've just played a game. I'm fine. Leave me. I'm fine.
Right, that was 2-0 down, was it?
2 sets to 0 down. Stung into action. And
it came back. Yeah. Oh, you've got. To be fair, Ali Pally, stuff always happens to you at Ali Pally.
Everything.
You nearly had royal bodyguards pull a weapon on you at one point.
That was right. That was a great story. Yes. So it was the semi-finals. This just beat Mark Webster.
Oh, that's easy. Everybody can do that.
No, he was brilliant.
He was good.
And to be fair, he's still good now, a bit. Anyway, so yeah, I've come off the stage and somebody's come up for giving me an hug. I've gone, oh, thank you, and give him a kiss as you do on the head. It was Prince Harry. So
did he enjoy the kiss?
He didn't say anything really. He just laughed, and and all these guards and that were there. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
They were reaching in, weren't they? Some big lads just accosted a potential future monarch.
Yeah, so that was quite embarrassing. If you look back, but it's happened, hasn't it? So.
I mean, those are stories that you'd have never even got close to those things happening if it weren't for this game.
No.
There was shortly after that. I think it was after you picked up your second world title, where you constantly get asked the question: if you're two-time world champion, are you the best player in the world?
Yes.
And I think finally you were ready to say it. Was that a big moment for you?
No, because that was Keith Dallas telling me say this. It was Keith. I didn't say, me, Dan. I mean, I hate saying anything like that. But I said no. I said right. I'll say it then. So that's when it come out. So he told me to say that. Yeah. He said, tell me the best in the world. I said, I'm the best in the world. You're only as good as you are on that day, aren't you, I suppose?
But you were pretty good on a lot of days, to be fair. So we blame Della for that one, right?
Definitely.
Excellent. Blame Della. In terms of your goals, I mean, you've achieved more than most players ever will. But do you still have, things you want to tick off the list?
Yeah, I'd like with a match play. I think that'd be good. The Grand Slam, just because I should have won it last time if somebody hadn't averaged 112 against me. But yeah, no, I don't really think about that. I just think as long as I can get there and make sure I'm right for it, I've got a good chance as anybody.
Have you changed as a player, as a person? What's different about Adrian Lewis now than the 18-year-old who turned up and everybody said, this lad's going to do big things?
I'm a lot less cocky now, I think. I'm a lot less, just cockiness really. I think that's what it was. But I just like showboating. I just like doing it for the crowd and that. And
the old no-look 180.
Good. Yeah, I actually was against Peter Manley after everything had happened. I thought he's having it. He's having one of them, and that was it. Yeah.
Are you ever tempted to bring back a bit of the old cocky Adrian Lewis? Has that gone? It's a new chapter.
Yeah, sometimes I think I get fired up, but like I said to you before, sometimes I get fired up and I just lose the next leg because I throw crap. So.
In terms of your goals and what your future is, I mean, how long do you want to be playing the game for?
Another few years, I think. Yeah, I think so. Depending on my wife's health as well, I think that's important. So,
because that balance, the priorities do change over a period of time.
Of course they do, yeah.
And with your family and everything, then darts, yes, it's your job and it's how you earn money, but it's still, you sacrifice a lot to be a darts player.
Of course you do. Like you say, you sacrifice your life. I can always remember. It's Phil always said. Or was it Phil? It might have been Eric. Could have been Eric, actually.
They said a lot of the same things.
Yeah, he says it's lonely at the top, he said. But, it's... Yeah, I think you have to put your heart and soul into it. If you want anything in life, I think, whether it's darts or whatever you want to be in your life, it's all about making sure you dedicate yourself to wherever you want to be.
Would you do anything differently? If you could go back to right at the start of your darts career, what do you look at and think, if I'd done that? Better or just different?
I don't know, really. It's a difficult one. Not really anything, because then it wouldn't be me, would I? So I don't know.
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
It's a philosophical question. That's fair enough. You don't have any regrets?
Regrets? No, not really. No, not as such. No.
So
no.
I'm going to nick another well-established podcast's line here. If I say you go back to the start, do it all again, exactly the same, would you do it?
I would have balls. I'd have been a bloody golfer or something. Oh dear, I don't think I could put myself through that again.
Even with the naked Craigus, that maybe eliminate that bit.
Yeah, well, that's pulling me leg a bit, so I don't know. No, I don't think, honestly, I don't think I'd change anything. But I'd be probably be a bit more greedy, I think.
More greedy?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, if you look at the likes of Michael and Phil and players like that, they're very greedy, aren't they? They want, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like just greed, like, they aren't just happy with what did very good.
Drive.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, you've always struck me as somebody who was. I mean, you've always had this persona of being like fun, but you can always see that you've got that will to win.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have it, and then for some reason, and then I just like, oh, not this again. It's like, I don't know. It's like having a blooming jacket potato tea every night, isn't it? I think you just need a little bit of time off it, and then you go back to it.
Mate, you still got that. You've still got that hunger to succeed now.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm all right when I'm there. It's getting me there. I think the travelling that does me in. But apart from when I'm actually there, I'm ready for play.
I'm looking forward to seeing plenty more of it.
Nice
Adrian
one,
Lewis,
top man.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Bob.